Hey guys, I am back with a review of my DPMS Sportical. It's their AR15 variant. This is actually the first rifle I ever purchased, and aside from a 22 LR. But I haven't done a review on it until now, and really the reason I'm doing it now is because of the suppressor that I purchased, and I really wanted to see the difference between suppressed and unsuppressed fire. But while I'm doing this, let me talk about some of the modifications I did to it. Before I do that, let me give you the specs on the rifle itself. As I said, it's a DPMS Sportical. It's chambered for 223 or 5.56 rounds. It's got a 16-inch barrel that is 4140 chrome moly steel. It's got 6 grooves in 1 9 right-hand twist. The upper receiver is 6066 T6 aircraft aluminum alloy, and the lower receiver is forged 7075 T6 aircraft aluminum alloy. It's hard coat anodized per mil spec, and the standard weight from the factory is just 6.3 pounds. However, with all the stuff I have on it, it is 9.8 pounds. And of course the suppressor will add some more weight, but we'll get to that. Before I go over the things that are on there, let me remove, I use Magpul PMag magazines in it. I just wanted to show you that it is in fact clear. I don't know if you can see in there. I will trust that you can. And we'll get back to the review. Okay, what have I done to it? First thing I did was I added on this Yankee Hill Carbine custom 2-piece forearm, and the reason that I did this is because I wanted to have a second optic mounted at 45 degrees, and this piece lets you do that. No, it is not free floated. If I had to do it over again, I probably would have gotten the free float equivalent. But on the other hand, I don't use this rifle for precision shooting. It's just kind of for fun. The optic that I mounted on here is a Burris Fastfire 2, which is a red dot sight. And basically the way this works is you would be looking through the main optic, and this is for at distance, and just quick flip 45 degrees, and then you're looking at an unmagnified red dot for closer targets. I also have put on here a Streamlight vertical grip, and it has an integral rail on it, and I mounted on, this is the really the only tactical thing that I've ever put on a rifle. When I put stuff on a firearm, it has a purpose, and at the time, as I said, this was my first rifle, and I thought this had a purpose. It probably does, but I figured that I could zero this in at 25 yards and use that for aiming, and now it's just something that I leave on there because I can't bring myself to remove it, so it's a little added weight. I did set this up to the switch to turn it on. Instead of on the vertical grip, I put it here on the pistol grip, and basically just pushing that lights it up. And I have to tell you something, in the dark, this is incredibly bright. It lights up the entire room. It's almost as good as a tack light. No, it's not, but it's cool. All right, moving on. As I have on another rifle, I use the CAA grip, and I like it because it lets you interchange the back strap for ease of or comfort in your grip. And it also lets you swap out the finger grooves, which is also very cool. I happen to like this one. I left the stock trigger. At some point, maybe I will switch it out for a Timney, but for the time being, this is the stock trigger. I also mounted on here a Specter 3-point sling, and the way that this is mounted on, and on both the rail in the front. Quick disconnect sling mount, and also on the buttstock, same thing. Quick disconnect. As I think I mentioned in a previous video, that's really neat to have if you need to take the thing apart for cleaning, maintenance, whatever. I also put on, only because it was hard to reach, the stock charging handle, a Bravo company one. That's not to be tactical or anything. That literally is just because it's easier to reach without interference from the optic. I forgot to mention this optic. This is a Trijicon 4x32 Acog, which, the name implies, it's for power magnification. I also changed out the buttstock, and I looked at a lot of different buttstocks. And the reason that I went with this one, and this is the Voltor Enhanced Mod Stock, or EMOD. Actually, the name isn't really Voltor, believe it or not. Everybody, I'm sure, calls it that. But the real pronunciation is Ultor. And that is from Latin, meaning avenger, and it's a word commonly used to describe the Roman god of war, Mars. So Ultor is what it's called. I'm going to call it Voltor just because it's a V. We're not in ancient Roman times. The reason I went with this really has to do with the cheek weld. It really gives a very, very comfortable cheek weld. Plus you have storage on both sides just by removing this. And as you can see, I keep extra batteries in there. And there is also more storage right here. And inside there you can have batteries or whatever. Plus you have storage in the Streamlight vertical grip, and that's where I keep the various tools I need for this, Allen wrenches and a slotted screwdriver, and there's storage of course in here. And what I keep in the pistol grip is my ATF tack stamp for what I'm about to talk about now, which is the reason I'm doing this review, the YHM Phantom 556 suppressor. Another modification I did to this, which you need to do for the suppressor, is I took off the standard flash hider that comes with it and I replaced it with the YHM Phantom quick disconnect mount for the suppressor. And let's see if we can get it to focus on this. You can see what the inside is there. You have the grooves and it just slips on, and just a couple of turns and then you'll hear it clicks, it's mounted. So it's and then comes off just as easily, just a couple of turns, and there you go. So what I'd like to do now is let's go test fire this thing, and it's going to be my first time shooting with the suppressor on this particular gun, and we will figure out together if this thing is hearing safe and what the difference is. So I'll see you at the range in a minute. Alright, well, that was fun. As usual, I learned some stuff, and let's talk about the point of impact testing I did. The one, I repeated it because I wasn't sure about the results. I shot at 100 yards, and the wind was kind of gusting to 25 miles an hour. So I think we can still use these results because it was repeatable. The very first test that I did was with this Black Hills remanufactured ammo, and remanufactured just means that there's a cosmetic problem with the case. It shoots exactly like this regular stuff. It's just cheaper. It's 55 grain full metal jacket, and as you can see in the video, these are the results. And let me just measure this, but I wasn't really certain about it, so I did repeat it, but let's just take the average of each. So it looks like that it was a shift of about 1.09 inches to the left and down a little bit. And then what I did was I repeated it using this Fiocchi or Fiocchi, I don't know how you pronounce it. It's the same thing. It's 55 grain full metal jacket, but I wanted to just see if it was the same, if I'd get the same results. And first of all, I'd never shot that particular ammunition before, so I zeroed it in real quick. And again, it's still the same 100 yards, same 25 mile an hour gusting. But as you can see, this is unsuppressed, and this is suppressed, and I think I got an even bigger shift in point of impact. If we just kind of take the middle of all of them, we're looking at about a 2.1 inch difference in the point of impact. So I guess you get different results with different ammunition, and basically the reason that I repeated it was because the first testing I did with this suppressor was on my AR15, and granted I did that at only 25 yards, but it had minimal shift, so it looks like it does make a difference in the gun and or the ammo that you use. Now the really big question is it hearing safe? I'm going to say mostly, yeah. I shot it with without the hearing protection. I will tell you that it wasn't comfortable, but my ears aren't ringing. I don't have a sound pressure level meter that is capable of measuring this, but I would guarantee you that, well, I feel safe anyway saying that this is below the OSHA requirement of, I think it's for sustained noise it's 90 decibels, but this isn't sustained, this is sudden noise, and I think they say below 140 decibels is hearing safe. Like I said, it was uncomfortable, but I would call this, yes, hearing safe, not as much as, say, the AR-57. So that is my review. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you have any questions, feel free to leave comments or send emails. And I hope you learned something, because I sure did. In the meantime, happy and effective shooting, everyone.